It isn't always Shakespeare, but it's genuine. It's a life.
I'm not gonna make it. You're gonna have to go on without me.
It's time to pack your shit and get out of here. It's not going to make it. Episode 5, we're back. Barely. We're scraping by somehow. We've managed to stay resolute. And we're thinking about leaving. It's about time, you know. There's a mass exodus going on, especially in D.C., There's been a lot of houses listed for over $1 million. Go ahead and pull up Zillow. I want you to query something. I'm going to have you pull up Washington, D.C., the metro area, and I want you to filter for houses over $1 million and look at what's for sale, because there's nearly 5,000 of them, which for a metro of that size is absolutely ridiculous. Everybody is leaving. It is time to get the hell out of town. The jig is up. We've been caught. Now the only thing that's left is to cut our ankle monitor off and get the hell out of here. I'm going by a new name. I'm meeting new women. I'm getting a tattoo covered up, and I've decided, I live my life better speaking a different language. That's just the way. That's how they're going to have to do things. All right, you've got this pulled up.
In Washington D.C. city limits, there are 516 houses.
Forget Washington D.C. city limits. Pull up the entire metro area, because we're really talking about like Arlington. We're talking about like the rich areas surrounding it, because everything's expensive in DC. Like regular houses are like $600,000. So something that's going for $1 million is nothing crazy. Go ahead.
1,381.
I've already
homes.
said there were 5,000. Zoom out on the map until it says 5,000, and that's the area that I'm talking about. Okay, do you know how, okay, is that something that you can do? What did I tell you about doing your job? If you do your job, there won't be what? Consequences. Say it.
I fucked up. It's now 20,000 homes.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, 4,900.
Yes. Okay. There are a ton of houses for sale, and look at some of them. Just go ahead and pull some of them up. I'd like to look. So,
I mean
that's okay. What are you doing? Do your job. Zoom in. Zoom back in. Okay, you're being a little ridiculous. Zoom in a little bit more. Zoom in.
We got the same one twice.
Come over here. Where some of the money
here
is.
We go.
Yeah. Click on this.
Woo!
We've got, and this is nothing even really all that impressive either. We may put some links up. We're gonna display some houses, whether they're the ones that Joe's looking at right now or not. I'm gonna filter through and select some houses, and that'll get fixed in post. But these houses, they're ridiculous. And you start to realize, like, D.C., it's one of the richest areas in the country, right? And it's always been that way because it's a powerhouse, right? You got to think about the people who live in proximity to D.C. If you filter by the most expensive houses, you're going to find some stuff that's like $60 million. And it definitely belongs to, like, Dick Cheney. Like, this house right here, this has got to be the house that 9/11 paid for. Like when something has 14 bathrooms, a movie theater and a sauna, a wine cellar, and it's right there, you paid with a weapons contract. That's one of the war dogs' houses, right? Like, the people in D.C. adjacent, they're involved in some form of crime. Typically on like an international scale, or at the very least like white collar, because the rest of them are basically what the Doge probe is finding as fraud throughout the U.S. aid system. Go ahead and pull up what the most recent Google searches have been in the Washington, D.C. area. Look up, I sent something to you.
Yeah, pulling up the DM. So here's the Google searches are exploding for criminal defense lawyer, RICO law, Swiss bank, offshore bank, wire money, IBAN, statute of limitations.
The jig is up. They know it. You just got to get out of town now. Sell the house. They're taking a loss. They're putting these houses up for millions of dollars. They're 3,000 square feet. I mean, it's nice, but is it millions of dollars nice? I don't know. Who knows what it's worth to live over there now? Now that all these jobs that pay $250,000 a year just for doing absolutely fucking nothing, and $250,000 a year is nothing there.
No,
People are consultants there, and they make millions of dollars a year, and they work, and they have these shady jobs, and nobody ever knows exactly what anybody else does. Washington is always like a game of trying to guess who actually has an important job and who doesn't, right? Because everybody kind of just wants to look like they have the most important job. So they have these super expensive houses, they have nice suits and cars, and they drive around and navigate through some of also the poorest parts of the country, some of the most riddled with crime and socioeconomically disadvantaged parts of the country. And they navigate through that and attend these social gatherings and events where everything is sort of encapsulated in this box that academia would sign off on, right? This is exactly what it checks all the boxes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they go to these things, and those people are now homeless. Those people don't have a job, they're unemployed, and they're not going to be able to collect unemployment on that. And it's only a matter of time until like criminal charges are filed on those who are in charge and profited the most. So the only thing left is to sell the house at a loss and do a mass exodus. I mean, God, I hope they don't start coming back here.
Federal workers?
Yeah, I mean, the D.C. bureaucrats, everybody who was fucking like the chief diversity officer at the FBI, you know, and then they tried to change her title and keep her on. They got caught doing, like, she's got to be for sure fired now. Where is she moving, right? She probably sold a nice-ass house out there because there's been 37,000 sales over $1 million in the D.C. area recently.
Oh.
Yeah, there's 5,000 up for sale right now, but there's been 37,000, I want to say, in the past year. So they know. They've been knowing that this is coming. And there's, of course, like the natural, like, you know, we move, buy, sell houses. There's a natural number for that. But this is a mass exodus, and they're taking a loss on a ton of these. They're selling them for like 30 or 40% less than what they paid for them. Like a wash. They like taking it to the cleaners. I'm telling you, these people have done nothing for their money, essentially, in a lot of parts. Either that, or they have worked really hard to like start conflicts elsewhere and fund both sides of a fucking issue and like control the, the militia and they do all kinds of stuff. They work real hard at that. And that's why they get the $60 million estates and stuff. But it's those groups of people, they now have to leave. You know, they're going to take a bath on these investments. They've worked very hard, but it was all for nothing. You've bought this overinflated piece of real estate. I mean, its value was only propagated on proximity to the ability to nurse off the teat of the government. That's the only reason the wealthy are there. Like, if you're not able to suck a ton of money out of that area, why the fuck would you be in that area? That it's a small area. A ton of money does not need to be there. It's got to be cleaned up. It's got to be condensed. And what's going to happen with this devaluation there, I think what we're going to see is we're going to see a monumental collapse of the housing market.
In DC?
Well beyond DC.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
DC, it's already collapsing because they're selling these houses at such a net loss.
Yeah.
So I think this could look really good for a lot of Americans who are looking to enter the home market, who are looking to become a first-time homeowner. And this is true. This is exactly what people have been asking for. We've been in a bubble, and everybody knows that all this wealth is held in real estate. The average cost of a home now is $400,000. Now, a lot of people are like, well, we need to increase the wages. Well, that doesn't do anything but fucking hurt inflation.
Yeah.
You know, we only have so much gold. We seriously, there's only like $424 billion worth of gold. That's how much money we can actually back up. The rest of it's bullshit. The rest of it is for real nonsense. So, that being said, we need to focus, we need to consolidate, and we need to say these houses are too fucking expensive. It's not worth that much. Housing is not worth that much. We are spending too much on this. And with mass deportation, with a number of people being placed in camps, with possibly, outbreaks of diseases, we're going to have a housing surplus, and we're going to have lower interest rates, and the market's going to be at an all-time low. It's going to be a really bad time to retire. It's going to be a really bad time to have equity in real estate. It's going to be a really great time to buy a house for the first time. It's going to be a really great time for families to be started and to be first, for the sake of America, this is actually a really good thing. I would argue that we really need a housing market collapse in order for most people to escape this permanent renters class that's been attempted to be established. We need a reset there. Equity will go back up. Everything will reinflate over time, and you'll recoup some of your losses. It's not going to be a total wash for everybody. Mostly just these schmucks in Washington who have been fucking everybody over, living in these nice-ass brownstones for the longest fucking time.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at some of these houses and you're like, oh, this is where the child sex parties go on. This has got to be where Hillary Clinton, takes the face off of an 8-year-old. These houses are gorgeous. They're so nice. They're beautiful. You're like, oh my God, the swimming pool is amazing. Could you imagine what it's like when it's filled with Guatemalan children? Nobody's ever accounted for all these missing border children. You think they're not in these mansions at D.C. just having parties? Oh, you're right. The conspiracy theorists who have been right about everything else are just wrong about that one. That's the one they're wrong about. Yep.
They probably make them do some of the landscaping first.
Well, I mean, the children? I don't think so. Maybe you make them watch the more experienced ones, but you're not making them... You don't start with, the estate,
Yeah, they practice on the guest house.
Exactly. They send them to just some junior secretary or some junior senator, some rookie. They send him there to do They send him there to do lawn work, and if he comes back unfucked, you can't trust that senator. That's the way these people do business. They're corrupt. That's what D.C. is. Washington is corrupt. Politics has always been corrupt, especially when there's that much money there. We need to get the money out. The money is leaving now. These homes are up for sale. Everybody's got to get out. It's time. It's time for the reset, right? It's time for the exodus. We're looking at Mars. We are. Elon's doing these rockets that restart themselves. They come back down and he grabs them. They're fucking cool.
Yeah, I've seen
they're really cool. And
yeah.
And there's a lot of talks about colonizing Mars. And maybe it would be our first time out of Earth. Possibly. People like to make that argument. What are some of... Dude, people make the argument that the moon landings are fake, right? They say shit like Stanley Kubrick filmed it in a Hollywood basement.
Yeah. There's a ton of little nitpicky things that they grab. and the one of them is the big one. I think is the star, or not the star, but the flag.
Hasn't Buzz Aldrin said some crazy shit? Look up if Buzz Aldrin said some shit like we've never been there. Because, like, one of them was, like, punching people for saying that we've never been, and then the other one's, like, seriously was like, we've never been, I never went. Like, says some really weird shit. But, you know, it's like the idea of interplanetary travel, the idea of, like, colonizing another planet, it's so exciting, right? It's like a fresh start. It's what we all look for. It's what we all need. It's why Christianity is so popular. You know, we all seek salvation. You know, we all want to be redeemed. We all want a new chance at a good life. And I think for a lot of people, Mars is going to be, you know, that sort of hope.
Is that they can get a new start on Mars?
I think so. I think that's because a lot of people, they like to say, oh, you know, the rich are going to take off on that rocket ship and leave us behind. I don't think so. They've spent so long making Earth comfortable for them. You know, Earth is really set up for the rich man at this point. You don't want to go somewhere new when you're rich. Explore what? Explore. Excuse me. I don't want to dirty my slippers. Like, I don't want to. What? I'm not going to be the first one anywhere. I arrive fashionably late to dinner parties. You think I'm showing up first to Mars? Are you fucking retarded? I'm Jeff Bezos, you idiot. You know, like, Jeff's not going to be the first one to Mars. But it's like this idea that the rich are going to leave us behind. I don't think so. I think they're going to farm people out to Mars. I think, if anything, Mars is a shot of redemption. It's a place where you could really assimilate, you could really lock in. You know, Mars is a place to lock in. Mars is an opportunity to, like, focus on yourself. When you think about, like, Mars, because it's a long, long trip there, and you got to think about who's going with it. If the rich are not going, that means they're sending the undesirables, right? It's going to be solely the scourges of society. It's the pill dealers who got ripped off by Sean Kingston. He still owes them for a couple pints. Beautiful girl. That's why it'll never work. Yeah, they're going to have you suicidal, my boy. They're going to strip you naked and pistol whip you with dildos. You know, they're going to take all the DEI hires from DC that are fleeing. I mean, they're going to be rounded up and shipped off to Mars. I mean, the furries in the schools, they're going to be grown up by then. All of these people are going to be rounded up, basically. Antifa, go to Mars. Have fun. Bye-bye. The dirt's red. Hope you enjoy. Isn't that funky and weird? How do you like that? Is that weirder than Portland? Is it? You tell me. I mean, you just send a bunch of freaks. Just send the bottom barrel of society. Send anybody who's ever worked at a tattoo shop or a laundromat or, you know, a political campaign. Round all those people up. First bus to Mars, right? Pill dealers that couldn't hack it. Not the good ones. Some of them are good. You just know when you look at them. And you grab them by the collars of their fake Gucci T-shirts. Scammers are a big one. Anybody with a PPP loan, lock them up. Even if they were just a small business owner that needed help, just send them too. Small business owners got to go. Anybody who coaches like a little league team, just send them right away. Just all those people. They're all going to Mars.
Insurance agents.
That's a good one. Okay, so who do we have so far? Let's get a
Insurance
list.
agents. PPP owners. Well, I think we can lump that into just small business owners.
Well, I mean, the scammers too, like the
Scammers,
Nigerians, you know.
Yeah.
Anybody in charge of the Nigerian Air Force. Actually, let's go ahead and play that video real quick, but just keep in mind who all's on this trip. Because it's going to be flown by the guy who's in charge of the Nigerian Air Force. It's at the bottom of the DMs.
Did you send it to me on Instagram or Twitter?
Twitter. It's the most recent DM. It's, yeah, check this video out. So they're jumping out of it. And they don't know how to land, apparently. They were like, fuck it, we'll watch the video later. They skipped through the instructional training video. They just got up there and they were, oh, I guess we got to get down now. Fuck. And they just jump. The guy sends them out one by one. They're all jumping. Put your knees together. Put your knees together. And they're fucking hitting the ground. He's still got it playing. It's on. He's fucking hitting the sign with his legs. They're hitting cars and alarms are going off. That's how they're dismounting on Mars, by the way. That's how they're coming down.
They're watching like YouTube videos on how to land parachute, but
yeah,
they get a 15-second ad.
Parachute tutorial video. It's pulling up as they're jumping out and it starts buffering. Oh, fuck. Should have paid for premium. I knew I should have got YouTube Premium.
Mint mobile and let me down again. That was more Jamaican.
Yeah, that was not good. Well, thank God we can mute your mic separately. That's, 12 guys named Dang hit a building. Yeah, that's who's making it to Mars. Okay, so and you got to think the journey to Mars, even if technology advances, it's going to be long, right? It's going to be at least a couple months.
The trip to Mars?
Yeah,
I think even estimates say it's years.
Okay, well for the sake of it, let's just say it's 2 years.
Yeah, they said it's like 2-3 years.
Okay, so first bus of people. You got the first group, and it's real estate agents and pill lean dealers and fucking. It's just like it's a wacky group of people, right? You got to think how these kinds of people are going to interact. They don't take a lot of accountability. They're all kind of relying on identity. Mm-hmm. It's those kinds of people that are going to be stuck on this first bus, and there's going to be some clashes. There's
on the trip there.
Yeah, there's gonna be some culture shock for them on the way there. Not all of them will make it there. Not gonna make it. You're not all gonna make it to Mars, okay? Some of you will be sent there. You're not all gonna make it there, and nobody makes it back. Once you get to Mars, you better get comfortable and lock in. You better view Mars like a prison sentence. You got life, my boy. You better just start doing some push-ups and reading Arabic. You better start brushing up on some Arabic, my boy.
Praying.
Alhamdulillah. Edit that out because that wasn't. I'm rusty. Mashallah, I get it right this time. And that was okay. Inshallah, this podcast will be successful. Allahu Akbar. All right. We'll keep. We're never monetizing. It's just who's on this this shuttle. Well, it's meth addicted Kentucky incest families, and it's people who enjoyed the Sonic the Hedgehog film, and women with PCOS. It's gonna be a tough time. I mean, I guarantee 2 years to get there, no babies being born by the end of it. I mean, God, everybody's unfuckable. It's tough. I mean, it's a sad group of people. It's a tough bunch. They're a rough and rugged crowd, but I think they're going to learn some lessons about themselves along the way. They're going to learn about sharing and equality, because you got to think, how do they set them up to go to Mars? I don't think they cryopod them for 2 years. No, that would be way too expensive, and like There's no way these people are like that trusting to want to like be anesthetized for 2 years.
People are on they're on Navy deployments and boats for longer.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's what I'm saying. So, but
They'll
these
just work 'em
people
in
won't have
shifts.
jobs. No. You don't have a job. No, dude. These people, they're not good at having jobs here. That's why they fucking Cairo lean and lobby for legislation. Those are their jobs. They're commercial real estate agents and they're models for women who have to shave their face and and so they're not good at working. So what are they? They're really only going to hang out. So it's like you ask this ragtag group of people like, oh, if you were stuck on an island for 2 years, what are 3 movies you couldn't live without? And they're all going to be sitting around watching Scarface and Patch Adams and the Cinderella story. Not even Cinderella, the Cinderella story, the one in 2005. It doesn't matter. I know. Shut up. It doesn't matter.
Castaway.
Somebody's going to turn on a Sean Kingston song and a group of guys are going to get real angry. Man, cut that shit off. We don't play that shit, man. He owes me $2,700. Better stop playing with me.
What a
beautiful girl.
What currency do they plan on using on Mars?
Man. Not going to make it coin. Only available at whatever your crypto website is. We're still accepted bids, Doesn't mean we haven't had offers, but
they could buy it so cheap now and then take it to Mars.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be worth so much more on Mars. It's got the utility. We got
a market cap of $10,000.
Yeah, just ask my quant if you don't believe me. But I mean, you got them stuck together. I mean, what do they eat?
Shit, dude.
It's
got
gotta
chicken
just
shawarma.
No, it's got to just be like tofu. It's Soylent Green. It's whatever they can process the cheapest. It's just nutrient bars.
Whatever makes the
brick
least amount
bread.
of poop.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it doesn't even. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
You can't even tell.
You can't?
Not really. I mean, not at all.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, do you want to mention what just happened?
The light went. One of the lights went out, and now it's back. Tell me that wasn't a difference.
No, it's just brighter in the room, so I can see the screen more brighter. We're good.
Okay, that didn't make a difference.
Not really.
There's a light flickering in here, and I'm very concerned about the production quality. Just because I pour my heart and soul into this podcast, I work overtime for it, and Joey here. Can't be bothered to answer a phone call on the day he's supposed to be working, and we've got to record last minute. It's just what we've got to do. We've got to put in these. We're burning the midnight oil.
We are burning the midnight oil right now.
Burning some of that whale blubber. We've got to burn it. That's what was used as midnight oil.
No, whale oil.
And we're trying to keep this thing together. I'm trying not to get sent to Mars. Podcasters are on that list for sure.
DJs.
For DJs are. I mean, we're just gonna execute them. I mean, don't. What do we need a DJ on Mars for? I'd much rather have a social worker, and they're just about good for nothing. What do we need a social worker on Mars for?
Take everyone's kids.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, whatever. It's just they're gonna be on this cruise together essentially for wouldn't you like to get booked for that gig doing stand up for 2 years to a group of fucking losers? Hey, we're going to be on Mars. What's the deal with space shuttles? Space shuttle peanuts? More like ass gay comedy just devolves. Comedy just turns into a insert local Kansas City comedian here. Set. Whatever. Yeah, wouldn't you like to get booked for that gig? You have to fucking walk around amongst them. They're like, oh, I don't really like the new stuff you're doing about the people from Pluto. It's like, I don't fucking care for them pollution fucks. Those pollutions, they're trying to come to Mars and take all of our fucking jobs. They're trying to beat us there. Ever since we found out about the pollutions, I've been pissed. I dropped all that shit against the Jews, and I've been hating the pollutions. Man, who knew that Pluto was in charge of our weather so much? Did you know that the effects of the gravity on Pluto had such an effect? Did you know that it was the pollutions that came and built the pyramids? It wasn't slaves after all. We have to edit all of that out. You know that, right? Like, why would you try to derail my momentum right there? Ever since I found out about the pollutions, dude, I've had to fucking drop everything against all the fucking lesbians in my neighborhood that have gentrified the place. You fucking look at it. You look at property values at like 40th and Tracy, dude. You go to 40th and Tracy in Kansas City, what used to be like you don't want to go there, and like it's still pretty rough right around there. There'll be like a storefront nearby, and there'll be like a huddle of crackheads smoking crack.
They're called.
Yeah, it's a huddle.
It's like a flock of geese.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
when they're in a huddle smoking crack, we call it a huddle. And then go team. And then they all break out and they all start doing their crackhead shit. And like literally 200 feet away, there's like basically one of the homes that you would see in DC. Big ass pride flag in the front, just new construction. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, this is my neighborhood now. Get out of here. Insert, whatever one minority would call another. They don't always get along. But the pollutions make you forget about all that. The pollution, when you have to focus about, and don't even get me started on the Neptunians. The Neptunians, I mean, you can't even fucking understand them, and the way they look. Don't even get me started on the way these fucking Neptunians look. They look the same, these Neptunians. Yeah. I mean, that's what our space travel is going to look like. That's going to be, and then the people on board are going to be like, dude, I mean, my cousin's dating a Neptunian, dude. You can't be saying that on a podcast. Like, okay, now that's a gig. Now that, who wants to be the first comedian on Mars? They got to do that.
Yeah, first comedian on Mars.
Whoever's doing that, and like, who's piloting that? Like, who do they send to?
Sully.
Huh?
Sully. To pilot the ship?
Sully?
Yeah.
The guy who landed. That guy's a hero, no?
I think he's like called a hero by some.
Send the guy who tried to crash the plane on mushrooms recently, who wasn't even the pilot for that plane, but he was like, we gotta get on the ground now. Send him. He's got a pilot. Just all the rejects. Who's been canceled lately? Who's been like the last out of the public eye? Who's the last person to do?
I don't know if he was the last one, but a notable one was they dug up a bunch of Kevin Hart's tweets about him calling he was like, I don't want my son to be gay. And they dug up a bunch of his tweets.
Oh, that's just based. No, that's okay. Kanye West is coming to Mars, though. Unfortunately, he's going to just have to upload music from there. I don't think the rest of the world is going to be able to handle him being around. He's getting another divorce. It's so funny. Like, we record a podcast, and then everything that we talk about, like, it's like, oh, there's brand new information. Joe missed a bunch of shit.
Sometimes as we're recording.
Yeah,
too.
like it's insane the levels of prediction that I have. But we briefly mentioned Kanye. Did not mention his Twitter meltdown or anything that he said. I mean, he's just going absolutely berserk, saying shit like fat women are sex offenders, and it's offensive to look at him, which if you listen to my last episode, boy, that would have worked well to talk about, don't you think? But alas, a large lass, these puns, dibs, yeah, how does that? I don't care. What the fuck else was I gonna say?
Kanye's going to Mars.
Oh yeah, he's got to come to Mars, dude. he's got to he's rolling with us, dude. And I mean, he's going to be a handful for sure, but he's got to come because you just can't do the things that he's doing. He's getting another divorce.
Yeah, he is.
His new wife is taking like $5 million.
It says they don't have a prenup.
Yeah, I know.
Is that cool?
I think they settled on $5 million is the number that I just said. Are you going to roll with it or are you going to question me?
Well, no, I didn't know if that was. I didn't know if you had known about the prenup not being there.
No, I mean, I think most of his assets are not liquid. I think they're very volatile. I think he also carried like a crazy amount of debt. So
yeah.
The thing about marriage is like, yes, you inherit their assets, but you also inherit their debts as well. Before you marry that woman, think about those student loans. Before you marry that woman, think about those student loans. Sometimes they'll get a degree and be like, you know what? I hate this. I just want to open up a mobile coffee shop. And that fucking ugly lady who's like, making coffee is harder than your job. Find that lady. Find her. Don't say a word. Just find her. There's a lady who runs like a coffee truck. It's like a lesbian who runs a coffee truck. Just find her. It might just be like asexual coffee or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, find this chick. We're going to pull this up. This lady is coming to Mars. She's coming. She's on bus 1, row 1, aisle 1. She is locked into that seat. Go ahead and press play.
Making coffee is harder than your 9 to 5.
Hear me out. First, you have to weigh out your coffee to the exact gram, and then you have to get it ground up. It is exhausting turning this crank over and over again. It is an absolute arm workout, and if you happen to be doing espresso, it's game over. Then, after weighing out your water and getting it heated up, you have to pour it out in circular motions over and over and over again until you reach the goal weight. The whole process can take 4 to 6 plus minutes, depending on what brew method you're using, just pouring water over and over. Then finally, after all that hard work, you can enjoy the cup. But man, I'm exhausted. I need a nap.
This person they're going to tie up and kick all the time. Whenever they get frustrated with other passenger members, they're going to go to the room where you get to abuse this person. And
the rage room?
Yeah, what's her name?
Did
Did you already close out of it?
No, it's here, but I don't have a caption. I don't have her. She was on Tom Segura. Oh, CC Campbell. She was on Tom Segura's.
Oh, was she?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. CC Campbell is going to be tied up in a pod in this fucking... They're going to lock her in the airlock, and they're going to periodically just fucking suck all the oxygen out of the room. and then like open it and then close it again, and she's gonna be like, oh my god. And then they're gonna go in and kick her. They're gonna go in and they're gonna kick the shit out of her. She's gonna just barely be catching her breath, like, oh my god, I can't breathe. Please stop doing it. It's so cold. Please stop. And they're just gonna go in and kick her, stomp on her face, like, you fucking idiot. Why are you stuck here with us if your job is so much better? Get up and make me a coffee. And she's gonna have to get up and she's gonna have like a little coffee station. She's gonna be knocking shit around, just so nervous. She spills the milk a little bit and they fucking suck it all out again. Because these people, they're fucked. They're fucked in the head. That's why they got to go to Mars. That's why they're not fit to be around us.
When you say these people, just for specific, who are we talking? Are we still talking about our initial group of like laundromat owners?
This is just like the lowest level of society.
Okay, cool. But this isn't race specific.
No, of course not.
Good.
Of course not. This is the furthest thing from race specific. It has nothing to do with race, religion, anything like that. This is solely based on do you suck? Are you a loser? Because Earth is going to be for winners now. Earth is going to be comfortable, and Earth has got a system that we've worked out. And if you've decided that you hate the system that's worked out here on Earth, you have to go to Mars. You have to go to Mars. It's a red new chance. Doesn't that sound more ideal for communism? Doesn't that sound like a more natural place for that to work out? Let's go to the red planet. How about that? We'll stop calling it Mars because you associate it with candy and capitalism and I get it, you know? I get it. The Mars bars. You can't.
Yeah.
Why are you so late to everything?
Well, I didn't. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't eat a lot of candy.
That's why you're late to everything? You fucking idiot, dude. Always answering a question 2 words behind. I don't, it's, you got this group of people that they couldn't hack it here. It's going to basically be like a reality show. You might as well film it and televise it for our amusement back here home on Earth. I said televise it for us here, like I'm not one of them on the fucking bus to Mars. But that's the thing is it's entertaining to watch people who can't hack it. To watch people who legitimately, like, God damn, they can't even have like a functioning relationship with their own family. They have no friends. I mean, who's going to love them? Those are the people. Everybody you've ever met who's like chronically single and like you talk to them and they're like, I don't know why I just can't find a man. Anybody who's ever said that, you're going to Mars. It's a big ship. This first ship to Mars, taking about 1 billion people. No can do. I know that's not realistic, but it's taken a lot of people. And it's just the losers. It's the people who just don't fit in, and somehow there's going to be a hierarchy that's formed there. You know? It's like when you put the kids with special needs in the special needs classroom, there's always one of them that has like the least special needs, and they're kind of like the leader of that class. They're like the most normal, and it's going to be like the pill dealers. They're going to control things up in the pods, you know, because they're kind of used to running shit with turf and everything. But they're going to have to learn lessons because it's not going to be as easy getting neurodivergent pussy from furries, you know? It's like you're going to have to learn to fucking change the way you speak and shit, you know? Know what I'm saying, dog? You hear me, sleepy? You know, it's just gonna be it's a wicked bunch, and they're gonna get there, and they're gonna colonize, right? Mm-hmm. They gotta set up shop. Mm-hmm. You get there, you gotta get out of the ship. The ship crash lands because
that one guy's flying.
Yeah, Sully's flying it. Set it down gently, buddy. Who did Denzel play in that movie? They're getting it takes 2 to pilot the shuttle. They just alcoholics. And
they'll probably lose a few thousand on the landing alone.
Yeah, a guaranteed, 1,000%. And they got to land. They take a hard crash landing. Everybody who was wearing a seatbelt made it, which is not a ton of them. and so it's just a ragtag bunch of survivors, really. And they crawl out and they have to fucking figure out what are they gonna do.
They're looking for McDonald's.
No, they've got to rebuild society. There's nothing there. They're starting from ground zero. It's literally like, I hope you brought some materials because you want buildings. That's number one. You hope you get some buildings built ASAP, right? So the immigrants have got to go to Mars too. The ones where their own countries won't accept them back, it's like, all right, Mars it is. You send them there, and it's like, ¿Qué pasa, güey? And then they're like, oh, we need a Taco Bell. See, we build a Taco Bell, and then they build a Taco Bell, and it's like the pillheads are like, great, I know how to make chalupas. And they fucking pop an oxy and they get behind the counter and they do what they've been doing here, but they excel. Because they're the only one that knows how to do it.
Oh,
When you're the best at doing it, you really kind of show out.
Yeah.
You know, you're the only guy. It's like, hey, they're counting on me. I can't be nodding out. I got to take a 30. I can't be popping an 80. You know, I got to take this 30 and just be reasonable with people. I got to, how many? Mild sauce? They put both in the bag just to be careful. I don't remember what he said, but I put it. Listen, there's a bunch of sauce in the bag, dude. I took care of you. They're going to run the place well. It's going to be okay. You know, like they got to build they need just basic infrastructure. You got to build the hospitals. Okay? We need hospital for sick see, and then they build a hospital real quick, and then it's like all the nurses who were twerking on the elderly, you know, and the disabled,
and doing blackface for Halloween.
What? Shut up! I hate you. You're fired. You're fired. No, the ones who were recently, it's low-key, like just hot black chicks, and it'll be like a disabled dude in like a wheelchair, and she's like standing on top of him twerking on him. Those chicks that got fired they got to go to Mars. Coming to Mars, baby girl. And they're going to Mars. They got to work in the hospital now. The chicks that twerk on you when you're sick, they're in the hospital. That's who's working there. You got to build all kinds of infrastructure. You need a police department. Mall cops. Mall cops are now real cops. Give them a real gun.
Are we taking guns?
Oh, yeah, we're taking guns to Mars. Dude, I mean, America's going to be the first to colonize. We may be sending our retards, but we're sending them with guns, dude. Just in case there's any fucking minorities up there that we don't know about yet. Just in case the fucking Gypturians are up there. Those gyps they're from Jupiter. The gyps from Jupiter. Yeah, dude, if I see a gyp, I swear to God, I'm putting one between its slanty fucking eyes. Yeah, dude, they don't like the gyps, and they better not be encroaching on Mars. It's like our midway, you know? Yeah. Gyps is not Japs. No, it's not. It's not Japs. And it's not gypsies either. It's a new one. And you can't be offended by it unless you're from Jupiter. And if you are, you're stupider, okay? This is an intergalactic episode, dude. All right, thank you for getting that one right. The soundboard, that was excellent timing. Dibs. I'm taking the soundboard with me next time I'm on stage. And God, I wish I was performing on a cruise ship for a bunch of degenerates on their way to Mars. No, they got to colonize it, dude. I mean, Elon's in charge, so it's going to be like, it's District 9. It's a South African. I mean, it's Chaz, dude. It's the autonomous zone from Seattle. Antifa is running this place. The hospital, they twerk on you. That's medicine. The Taco Bell, I mean, he's like, listen, the food is all the same. It's just different shapes. And now that you know that, they're all going to come in the same shape. It's just way easier for me, man. It's way easier, man. I'm way too focused. Taking videos for Instagram of me turning my Sprite upside down. You can tell this is real drop. Won't catch me on fake lean busters. This is worth way more to me than my job at Taco Bell. Is watching... Oh, it's almost fully mixed now. Is the video in slow motion? Now a boomerang of my double styrofoam cup. This is so... Yes, I brought styrofoam Taco Bell cups to Mars, specifically for these videos to flex on the Gypturian hose. That's who's running the Taco Bell. And the Taco Bell's the only place to get food. That's the only food that they eat. He's like that's the backbone of their society, honestly, is just a pill guy who's working at Taco Bell. And the nurses that twerk. The twerking nurses. You accidentally get shot. You're mistaken for Sean Kingston while you're up on Mars, and then a nurse twerks on you to fucking cure you. Who else was coming? Insurance agents.
Anyone involved in insurance.
We just cook them, and that's the Taco Bell.
Dude, that's what they eat on the ride there.
Yeah.
Just live. You eat them normally.
Yeah. Who else was coming?
Well, we already said we were killing DJs. Did we say moms?
Maybe, okay, one DJ. We keep one DJ alive, and then we take him up to the highest peak in Mars, and then throw him off to study the effects of gravity to see if it takes him longer to fall. I know we already probably know, but...
like the most calculatable thing.
Yeah.
We're just destroy.
Yeah, we're just, fuck it. Hey. And it actually doesn't even hurt him, and we're like, fuck. You just got to throw like a hammer at him.
He falls and he goes, I'm actually okay. And then we shoot him.
He bounces back up. He starts floating your way, and you just hit him with an axe when he comes your way. Just split him right in half.
Then he like two halves. He morphs it back together.
Yeah, this is what you get for making all your hot chick friends invite us everywhere in the middle of the night. Like, I know you don't actually want to see me. I know your friend's just the DJ, and they need people in the door. You're not slick. Fuck you, DJs. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's the autonomous zone. I mean, what was going on there? It was just an open air fucking fentanyl market where they...
There's probably an open mic in there somewhere.
Guaranteed there was an open... I mean, yeah, there is a comedian on... It's a paid gig, right?
Yeah.
To perform on the way to Mars.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are taking up stand-up comedy on the way to Mars. A lot of people aren't going to have it in them to like do push-ups and like focus on like inner peace or like healing their inner child or whatever the new thing is, like doing the self-love.
Self-help.
It's all just
So
rebranded, self-aggrandized dick sucking.
What is the open mic on the ship gonna look like though?
I mean, bad. I mean, I bet I've seen worse open mics.
The headliner comes around every once in a while and everyone just freaks the fuck out.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, thank God there's no bookers where they're going.
Do you have
right?
any advice? Just stay at it, man.
Yeah, quit comedy, dude. Quit comedy while you can. Get out while you can, dude. Maybe get into screenwriting. We're going to be in Mars. Mars is the new Hollywood. Let's do it without the pedophilia this time. Can we try? Maybe? Just once? All right. No, it's District 9, dude. I mean, it's going to be, people are going to have really weird, wild jobs. There's going to be robots. It's going to be different. These people weren't meant to hack it here. You know, here they were getting locked up all the time, and they were in cars and in tents and shit. You go to like Denver, you go to Austin, LA, like, I mean, the tent cities are out of control.
Skid Row's like 4 blocks.
Yeah, dude. I mean, they're in there. They're fucking. They have like stolen kitchen appliances, kids that don't belong to them, and electronics just set up everywhere. I mean, pull up a little bit about like Chaz and the tent cities.
It says the zone's formation was preceded by a week of tense interactions on the Capitol Hill neighborhood beginning June 1st. What information do you specifically want here?
What was going on there?
Dude,
like, I mean, overdoses, shootings, there were crimes that were happening, but like, what was supposed to be going on there? Poetry readings and fucking like beeswax tastings and shit. Like, what was just like pottery classes? What was supposed to be like going on that went awry? Or was it just disorganized from the beginning and supposed to be like, oh, we just want to like shoot up and fucking call ourselves wolves?
I mean, it was.
I love when I'm on heroin and I'm a wolf. Nothing better than being a wolf on heroin. Oh, woo!
Yeah, they're just fucking nodding. In the heat of the BLM protest, they moved into the Capitol Hill area. They positioned street barricades for a 1-block radius around it, and they called it Free Capitol Hill. The mayor called the zone an attempt to de-escalate interactions between protesters and cops. And Bess said that her officers would look at approaches to reduce their footprint in the Capitol Hill neighborhood. So it literally looks like it was. I mean, there were 1,000 people there.
It's literally just people that are like, we don't fuck with cops.
Yeah,
which cool.
Everyone
that's
can get
based.
Wait,
yeah.
are cop? We're not having cops in jails on Mars, are we?
I mean, how could we?
Yeah,
I mean, actually, yeah, we have cops in jails on Mars. We have cops in jails on Mars. The gang members are now cops. Just switch it around. Just let them, because they're good at it. They mostly just hang around all day and look for fights to get into.
Yeah.
Just look for little people to bother is mostly what they do. So let's let them keep doing what they're good at. You know, it was kind of working out for them here, but you know, there's got to be crime and punishment there. Because it's gonna end up looking like District 9. It's gonna look like people are like impoverished already. Like they're gonna have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. There's no tents on Mars. You'll blow away. You'll freeze to death. You'll die. There's no oxygen. It's not gonna work. There's no tents on Mars. You got to get in a building. You need the pods. The pods need to be a safe place for you. You're going to have to really get it together. I mean, because quickly there's going to be a hierarchy. There's going to be a class system that's established pretty easily because that happens all the time. It's a natural system. The Taco Bell guy with the perks, he's going to have all the money. You're going to be up on Mars like Drank Man, please. Pull that up. Dude, are you familiar with Drank Man, please?
No.
Just Google that.
I mean, what is the background of it?
It's just a guy who was desperate for a little bit of lean. Just let me click the full image because it's a man posted some bottles of lean on his story on Instagram, and a man replied, "Can I get half a line, cuz? Fuck with me on half a line, no bullshit." Half a line, you're not even going to really feel any. Like, that's such a small amount, but it's so expensive. The price of lean, I mean, if we're talking inflation, it's way up there. I remember when it was dirt cheap. He goes, get that out of my way. He goes, fuck with me on half a line, no bullshit. I'm thirsty. I need it. Juice man. Drank man, please. I'm ready. I'm trying to pull up. And it's kind of sad. It's a funny text thread because just the things he says are mildly amusing. Drank man, please. I mean, come on. It's just amusing. But he's clearly going through it, you know? It's dark to say I'm ready. What are you ready to do exactly for half a line? We're eyeing you, you know, no bullshit, no funny shit. Like, you're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to be ready to do some things that maybe you weren't willing to do here on Earth. Whether that be self-reflection and growing and becoming a venture capitalist on Mars and being like, fuck it, I think we could be the first ones to make it to Uranus. That's what he said. Am I right? Dibs. I don't care. We're not going to make it. You may be the most successful. Some people come home from prison and they have gotten their entire lives together. They get their CDL and they fucking retire in 13 years. They've got a plan. They get it figured out. And some people are going to realize that they're capable of doing much worse. They're going to realize that getting sent to Mars was nowhere near rock bottom. They should have sent you to Venus. They should have sent you right to the face of the sun. Because there may not be tents on Mars, but you could still rob a motherfucker. You're still willing to suck cock for blow on Mars. Not that much has changed. You may not be in a tent, but you're still willing to hold a pregnant lady at gunpoint.
For half a line.
Is that how much it was for?
For what? Who held a pregnant lady at gunpoint?
We'll let the viewers Google that. It may have something to do with why there were so many tents.
Oh.
Oh. Well, I guess that's how we're ending it. Just remember, when you're thinking about making a bad decision, would I be the kind of person that would still live in a tent on Mars? Good night.
Okay, was it George Floyd?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the Floydinator.